you get dragons.
That's how you get, Snakins. So skip to your loo, draw a few, what I do best. You ain't even impressed no more, you used to it. Solid decks, nobody close to it. Nobody says it was till everybody knows the Smiths. The most hated on out of all those I get hated on like 80 songs. My boards state too much. I play it all up. There is such a thing like two cousins with good decks. Bullshit supreme. It just means so much more to so much more people when you're specking and you know what for. The show must go on. So I'd like to welcome y'all to the Adam and Lowry Carnival. Come on.
So Eminem.
Yep.
Do the beginning part again.
So skip to your loo, draw a few, what I do best.
It's not lose yourself.
You ain't even impressed no more. You used to it.
End part again.
What part?
The end. I want to get this.
People, it just means so much more to so much more people when you're specking and you know what for. The show must go on. So I'd like to welcome y'all to Adam and Lowry's Carnival. Come on. Bam, 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 bam. Bam, 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 bam.
That's not helping at all. I don't know. What is it?
Let's get down to business. It's business.
Maybe I don't know that one as well.
It wasn't a huge hit.
How does the original go?
What do you mean?
Like
I don't
second
fucking
beginning.
So skip to Yalu. Da, 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 da. I don't know.
Maybe I don't know that one as well as I thought. I recognized it right away that it was Eminem, but I just was trying to figure out song wise.
It was tough.
Ozzy Nate.
Clearly, Ozzy Nate. He's
a wordsmith. Oh, he's our Smith.
He's adopted.
He's our wordsmith. He joins the show. He's our other Commander Smith. Welcome to Commander Smiths.
We are the Commander Smiths.
I am Adam Smith.
And I am Lowry Smith.
Don't worry.
We're cousins. This is episode 72.
72.
72.
It's like we just got done doing 71.
We did just get done doing 71. And in between 71 and 72, let me find my notes real quick. Jonathan Santos became a Patreon manager.
That is so crazy.
Literally in between like 10 minutes in between recording the two. I was like, we just got another patron.
So
which
thank
is awesome.
you, buddy. That is awesome.
You must have listened to our last episode, and you know you're an awesome person. So thank you.
That is crazy because I was thinking that when we got done with the patrons from last episode, I was like, oh, it sucks if somebody does it this week. We aren't going to find it.
Yeah, it'll be a little while. But no.
Thank
right
you.
on time. Wink.
So yeah, if you want to become a patron at like midnight anytime, we might be recording and you might get on the current podcast. So
yeah, and also if you get in $5 or more, we'll get you a proxy of the week.
Yeah, or Digitoken
of the month,
whatever.
For the last 2 months.
Yeah, so that is one thing that we did change. And then also...
Remember to do Garuk's Dong on YouTube.
Matt.
Is this July now?
This is July.
Oh, man, we got to come up with... Can we do Meat Force this time?
Let's do Meat Force.
We're just going to do Meat Force.
Something else comes up during the episode where we decide to add that in.
All right.
Meat Force this month.
July is Meat Force.
So we'll do a random drawing from the people from June that did Garuk's Dong, and now we have Meat Force for July.
Yeah, we'll probably just contact you before this episode because we have no idea who is winning.
Correct.
At this point. So good job. You're going to put that name in,
the blank
right?
name.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So I have to record it and put myself in there?
Correct. Correct. This is magic.
Jeremy Pangrel. No, that's not the name.
No. No, he doesn't win. I think we toss his name out.
Yeah.
He says Garuk's Dong all the time without any encouragement.
He just texts us that.
Yeah, I know. It's weird.
It's like just a picture of Garuk
like,
and then
stop
it's that
harassing
eggplant
me.
emoji.
Yeah.
It's his dong.
Hey, wet splash.
That's ejaculation.
So obviously you're on... That's what Garuk would do.
Yeah. Man, can you imagine his semen though?
They're probably like 1/1 beasts.
What?
Like,
they would be. Oh,
they're that big.
Semen.
Yeah, because he makes 3/3 beasts. But if it's semen,
God, man,
it's not funny when you got to explain it.
Cover the land with beasts. It's in my eye. All right, so
hold on. That'd be great if it was like he had a card that tapped land. Get it?
No.
Sex tapping. Bam bam. That's a thing.
All right, can I try this beer?
You could.
What do we got here?
This is a Samuel Smith's organic chocolate stout.
Hey,
this
it's
is
a Smith beer. Look at you.
It's a product of the United Kingdom, so it's an import that we get here. I don't know if it's a real thing. It might be shit over there, but it's decent.
Ooh, the chocolate stout. I like this a lot.
It's organic too, so
that means it's good for me.
I would assume that someone farted in it. That's what makes things organic, right? Might be different in the UK. I don't know. That's like an American thing, right?
Its taste.
Yeah, just like waft a farmer's fart over.
I like it.
That would get rid of any pesticides or like any pests on there that I know of.
Lowry farts for sure.
Clearly,
especially during bachelor parties when he's about to have eggs. Somehow he farts eggs.
That's like a month ago. I'm not sure if anybody remembers that. But I remember. We share beers on this cast. I don't share beers with Adam on Twitter. If you want to check that out, and I just rub it in his face. That good stuff.
Yeah.
And the surprising thing is, generally, I pick a better beer when I'm not sharing with him. And I like that.
See if I care. I don't even care. I don't even watch.
You do.
I don't even look at it. Also, this week's proxy of the week would be Renin 6 is the proxy of the week for this week.
You already planned that out?
Yep.
Okay.
Look at that. Planning ahead. Whoop, whoop. I don't know if there's a digi token. There might be.
You just did the digi tokens last time. But we have Canopy Vista out there too, right?
Yeah, but that was like
2 weeks ago.
Yeah. Come on, Lowry.
I want that.
Well,
that goes in like every deck.
And I didn't mention it in the last cast, but the interesting, I did put it on the tweet that there wasn't like a good quality prismatic Vista, which a lot of times when you have the new set, they do have good quality images, especially for something that's used a lot. They'll just have the art. And so that's how I get my art, how I take the image and use that. There wasn't anything. So I went with, it's a volcanic island. It's not actually volcanic island, but I've used that for volcanic island in the past.
Yeah.
And I always loved that art. And I was like, well, this kind of fits because if you look at Prismatic's art,
colorful, and
it's like islands floating with lava and whatever. And I was like, this fits.
It's a tree.
So actually, I think I like this better, and I'll use it a lot more. Cool story, Hansel. All right, so what do we... Oh, no, let's keep going with our stuff.
You can always Gmail us at CommanderSmiths.
More song ideas, like Lowry just sang from Ozzy.
Ozzy Nate is the greatest. The greatest song composer.
One of these days, he's going to come here, and we're going to go out karaokeing.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Jesus. And then you can also go on our YouTube channel, like we just said. Go on there, especially comment on this.
Is there any other way?
Meat Force. Like, subscribe, share our stuff. And I think that's it, right? Patreon, we did that. Twitter, blah, blah, blah. All right, so what are we doing for the episode today?
I made a Yawgmoth deck. Spotlight deck.
Mm-hmm.
Spotlight deck. So, yeah, we're going to talk about that a little bit. And then we're also going to...
Listener...
Kyle Bowman
gave us this idea of Jank Tribes that we named it Jank Tribes.
I don't quite remember how he specifically wanted it.
No, he's saying that he wanted
definitely
tribes that might need more support or a way that they're could be useful.
Yeah, so we got a list of things that we could find interesting, and then we cut about a third of the stuff because we couldn't think of anything that would help them out because they're just
they're lost.
They're shittier. They're like real. They're true jank.
Yeah,
they're like boar tribal.
We'll go through those and then we'll finish off the episode with Smith Specs of the week.
Yo.
But we will first start with Lowry's Spotlight deck.
Why'd you say that? Don't you normally just
I know, plug it in, so now I don't have to because I did it so awesome.
A Spotlight deck.
Okay. So Yawgmoth, Thran Physician, is a legendary black creature from Modern Horizons. It's 2 colorless, 2 black for a 2/4 human cleric. It has protection from humans. I can pay 1 life, sacrifice another creature, put a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 target creature, and draw a card. And then I can pay 2 black mana, discard a card, proliferate.
This was like one of my favorites out of this whole set for commander wise.
Yeah, so this card is way now that I've like goldfished with the deck a bit, I'm just like, holy shit, I draw a ton of cards with this. And I was thoroughly impressed with it, and I think you need there are couple different ways. Like you could go morbid, which is whenever there's a creature die, you can have a morbid effect happen. I did not do that. I cut all that like probably yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And for reasons I'll get into. You could also go like, you could probably go a lot heavier into Planeswalkers with the proliferate effect, because you're able to draw a ton of cards. I think I only have one Planeswalker in here.
Okay. But problem is you have to go black. I mean,
there's mono black.
Mono black that's the one drawback is you have to go monocolor.
Yeah, but like just think like I didn't go with Sorin, but Sorin seems like Sorin Markov comes into play, put somebody to 10, the next turn proliferate, put somebody else to 10, Sorin Markov dies.
Yeah,
but like you just did
brutal.
Some crazy stuff right there.
Yeah. So. And by the way, you can go, we will have Tapped Out linked on this episode, so you can actually go check it out while we're talking about it. But what is the angle that you kind of went with then with this deck?
I've always wanted to have a -1/-1 counter deck. Now, I wish it was more colors, like a red-green mixture, just because you can have more options. Like Wither would help a lot more from like the Shadowmoor block. Or like having
there's a lot of green
Scorpion,
stuff with,
Scorpion God from Amonkhet block would be really nice in there too. But just ended up going, this is just mono black, and I tried to go like -1/-1 counter effect.
Okay.
And I also ended up. This is probably one of the few times where I'm like, I just want to play this card, which I don't normally do, just because there's a bunch of like heavy black mana symbols in black.
So it's a little more difficult to...
Yeah, and we'll get to those, but we can...
Are we starting with the meat and potatoes, or what are we starting with?
We're going to start off with the -1/-1 counter package.
All right, so you have Crumbling Ashes, which is the enchantment that at the beginning of your upkeep, destroy target creature with a -1/-1 counter in it. So with you're paying 1 life, sacrificing another creature, put in a -1/-1 counter on up to 1 target creature. You're killing one of yours, but then you're also killing one of theirs, and you're also drawing a card off of its effect.
And it just makes the -1/-1 counter effect more powerful, because you kind of want to, like, it'll be interesting to see how it works. Like, do I want to weaken bigger creatures, or do I want to just get rid of an army? Because getting rid of an army seems a little bit easier, but this card allows just 1 -1/-1 counter on a bigger creature, just kill it.
Yeah.
So on a consistent basis.
Then you have Contagion Engine, which is the double proliferate when you...
Yeah, and that just helps out with the proliferate effect, and that is also putting -1/-1 counters on any one opponent's creatures.
Midnight Banshee.
This puts -1/-1 counter on each non-black creature out there. Since you're a mono black creature,
black, that works perfect.
This shouldn't affect you at all.
Corrosive Mentor. Black creatures you have Wither?
Yeah, just that allows you... That's one of those Wither cards that gives the -1/-1 counters. So
why aren't you playing with Infect? Where's your Infect?
That was another route. I forgot about saying that. But yeah, I was thinking about just getting like...
You just didn't want to go against
just
Flowery.
Having like one... There's it's something rats. When it comes into play, everybody gets a poison counter. I was just like, I could just do that to fuck with people.
You totally go against what you like doing. That would have been awesome. Get out of your comfort zone. Then Blowfly Infestation, the enchantment that whenever a creature is put in the graveyard from play, if it had a -1/-1 counter on it, put a -1/-1 counter on target creature. So it just keeps spreading pretty much.
But this also allows, if somebody has like a 1/1 army, just wipes them out.
Oh yeah, that totally.
Just kill. And then anything big, put it on that. So like... it can end up being really powerful. The next little package that we're going to go with is just like the consistent recursion creatures.
So you have Nether Trader. Love this card. It has haste, shadow, and it's 2 black, and it's a 1/1. Whenever another creature is put in the graveyard from play, you may pay 1, and then you can return this from your graveyard to play. Bloodghast does pretty much the same thing, but whenever a land...
It's sacrifice it, draw the card, and then play a land, bring it back into play.
And then you have Reassembling Skeleton. That's you can tap 2 to return it from your graveyard to the battlefield. And then Blood-Soaked Champion. It has Raid, which is tap 1 black and 1 colorless. Return it from your graveyard to battlefield. Activate this ability only if you attacked with a creature this turn. So you're being able to use these with its sacking ability to pay 1 and drawing a card.
Continually being able to just sack things. And then I have basically a recursion package here, which is pretty simple. Like, you're trying to kill everybody's creatures, so why not get them all back?
So the game winner, the Day of Dragons, Rise of the Dark Realms. This is pretty much a game winner. If you're a late game with that, bring back all creatures from all graveyards to the battlefield under your control.
And the nice thing, what you can do with Yawgmoth is sacrifice all your creatures, kill as many creatures as possible, and then play that card, because you've already drawn a ton, and bring all of your creatures back and everyone that you killed. So you can be really aggressive with your -1/-1 counters on that.
Grimoire of the Dead. 4, it's a legendary artifact. Discard a card, put a study counter on it. Remove 3 study counters and sacrifice it. Put all creature cards from all graveyards on the battlefield under your control. There are also zombies, so it does kind of the same thing.
So yeah, and the other nice thing though is like the proliferate.
So you're able to add the counters.
You
and
put
do
the
it
counter,
sooner.
discard a creature card, and then whenever you have the mana, pay 2 black, discard a creature card, proliferate, discard a creature card, proliferate, and probably do. And I think you need to, you sacrifice.
You just
it
need 3 study counters. So
and then
really,
you just, So if you're able to do that for like 8 mana on 1 turn, that might work. Do you got to tap it to sacrifice it?
Yes, you do.
Okay. So the next turn you can tap it, sacrifice it, and bring all creatures back.
Cauldron of Souls, perfect add in this because you're giving your creatures persist. So when you're sacrificing them, they're coming back, so you get to use their ability again. Perfect for that. Sword of Light and Shadow, that has pro white and black. And then when it deals damage to a player, gain 3 life, and you may return a creature card from your graveyard to your hand.
Yep, and that's solid because you're able to... gaining life, because you're sacrificing those creatures and paying life, you could really ding yourself pretty quick.
And then you have Necroskitter, which this card started spiking because of this. It has Wither. It's a 1/4. Whenever a creature an opponent controls with a 1/1, -1/-1 counter and it dies, you may turn that card to the battlefield under your control.
So one thing that you could potentially do with the Cauldron of Souls there is persist all of their creatures when they're dying. They die. They come back with -1/-1 counters, and then when they die again, you get them if Necroskitter's in play still. So that's kind of
the nice thing about Cauldron of Souls is you don't have to. It's not just your creatures. You get to choose any number of creatures for that. So you can choose opponents' creatures as well.
So this next package is 2-in-1. It's one that I really tried to avoid doing because you kind of had the same similar thing.
Say, these 4 are in a lot of my decks.
So this is the Aristocrats section.
Yeah, so you have Death Greeter, Blood Artist, Zulaport Cutthroat, and Falcon Wrath Noble, which all these, whenever a creature either dies, you do a damage and you gain a life.
Yeah.
So you're killing your creatures, so why not have these in your deck?
And again, it's pretty important to gain life. That's what I was finding, and that's why I ended up adding them in, because you can really end up losing a lot of life and drawing a ton of cards, but you become a target.
And then with the same thing with anytime you're sacking creatures, you want to have things that you benefit from when you're sacking yours. So you have your Grave Pact, your Dictate of Erebos, and Butcher of Malakar. All of these, whenever a creature you control dies, everybody else sacrifices a creature. So
the Grave Pact effect. It's kind
of the must add when you have a deck that does something like this.
Yeah. So there was, and those ended up replacing some of the Morbid cards.
Okay.
Because it was like, whenever you have a creature die, you can, pay 2 black, destroy 2 target non-black creatures.
Yeah, this makes more sense.
I should probably just have these in there. This is just better. There's a demon that also has Morbid. Whenever a creature dies at the end of turn, you can destroy a creature. I was just like, I think I could just outvalue people better.
Yeah.
I tried to avoid it because I think you have 2 decks, Teysa and Slimefoot.
Yeah.
At the
Slimefoot
very
I don't
least
use
around
as
that.
much anymore.
Yeah. But I was just kind of like, I kind of wanted to try to avoid it, but fuck
No,
it.
but you had to use it. I mean, you're using mono black, so you have to use the tools that you're given with that.
And the other thing is, like, I didn't have the Blood Artist effect, but I did have the Grave Pact effects in my Krav and Regna deck from Battle Bond. But I did take that apart to make this, because I don't like decks, for me personally, to have similar effects. If I want to switch a deck, I want it to feel different when I'm playing. So this was going to have a very similar feel to what Krav was doing, sacrificing creatures, gaining life, and drawing
so you
cards.
completely destroyed Krav and Regna.
Got rid of it.
Time to build a new deck, Adam. I'm just kidding. All right, so
this next package is more just like creatures dying for value.
okay, so I'm just going to kind of read them
Yeah.
off. So you got Orzhov Enforcer, has Afterlife. You have Liliana Heretical Healer? He's a tickler.
Heretical. It's a tickler.
Heretical or healer. Tickle.
Yeah, she killed her brother, tickling.
They got Ogre, Slumlord, Org, Xanthrid, Necromancer, Pawn of Ulamog, Sifter of Skulls. What is that guy? Calitas?
Kalitas?
Cletus?
Cletus. We can call him Cletus.
Ding, 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 ding. Orphomancer. Oh.
So Orpheomancer was going to be one of my specs, and then I saw it was sitting around $15, and I was like, shit,
Never
already
mind.
went up.
Geralf's is Geralf.
Geralf's Messenger.
Actually, I got spec'd on these guys, and all mine are sold except for
little
one.
problem with that, and what I ended up doing was, so Machias the Unhallowed kind of goes infinite with Yawgmoth, so that might be a spec. But I ended up cutting it because it's basically an
infinite. We try to
whenever
stay
a creature
away from that.
comes back, like whenever it dies, if it's a non-human, comes back into play with a +1/+1 counter on it. You can sacrifice another creature, which would end up coming back, but put a -1/-1 counter on that other creature, and then you can sacrifice
Rinse and
that. It would
repeat.
come back and just boom, 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 boom. So Geralf's Messenger kind of does that as well, but you don't get the juggling effect. You just get Geralf's Messenger back.
Yeah, and see, the reason why...
And it might still be fairly infinite or very, very, like, draining.
Yeah,
we'll
so you
see.
needed two of these to be able to do it, or two undying things to do it. In Modern is why I kind of spec'd on it, not for Commander necessarily.
Sure.
So I picked up foils of these guys, and I'm down to my last one.
This is a very... Geralf's Messenger is a very high value card in this, but I don't think it's combo-ish yet. But to whereas Machias the Unhallowed is just combo. If you have Machias, Yawgmoth, and 2 non-human creatures, you just combo. So
Combo win. And then Endrick. Man, I shouldn't be the one reading all these.
Endrixar. Was it something breeder? So this one is another one that
He's a
has
master
spiked.
breeder.
He's a master
He's a
breeder.
master breeder.
You're a master breeder. But whenever you cast a creature spell, you get to put that many 1/1 thralls into play for the converted mana cost. And if you have 7 or more thralls, you got to sacrifice Endrixar. But the thing is with Yawgmoth, as long as you're not casting a creature of converted mana cost 7 or more, you can always just sacrifice those creatures to create the
Which
-1/-1.
it's nice because it's just paying
draw.
1 life. You're
Yeah.
not having to tap mana to do that. So.
And then you have them come back into play. And then if you have a Blood Artist, you're gaining that life anyway.
Yeah, that's pretty brutal. I like that. Nest Scarabs, which is whenever you put 1 or more -1/-1 counters on it, create a 1/1 black insect creature token. So
Yep.
frickin' hey, you're creating, put in -1/-1, you're losing a life, but then you get a 1/1. Then you sacrifice that and do it again.
Depending
do it
on your
again.
life, this is almost like it's a kind
wipe?
of a one-sided board wipe. Yeah. Now, if you have one of those,
Well, you can throw the -1/-1 counters on your creatures too to just keep. If you run out of
also
targets
true.
to
Yeah.
draw more, if you're needing it.
That's a lot of drawing cards. But if you have a Blood Artist effect in play, again, you're just kind of can do it until everybody's creatures are gone. So,
And then you have Abhorrent Overlord.
abhorrent.
Oh, it is. It's foil, so I'm having. No, I was going.
Yeah, baby.
He has abs and he's a
So
horror.
when that comes into play, that's my biggest creature.
It's 7.
I think. Yeah, and I have the Malakir.
Butcher.
Yeah, that's at 7. But this one, for each black mana symbol that you have in play, you get to make a 1/1 flying harpy or whatever, and then at the beginning of the turn, you got to sacrifice a creature. But that just is a lot of gas for a lot of creatures at the end of like a game.
That's kind of a shitty card by itself.
Sure. Yeah.
You know, you're casting 7 for a 6/6 flying that you get a bunch of little 1/1s, but then you're having to sacrifice. Like, I feel like the downfall is already, you're paying 7 for this fucker to come out.
Yeah. And well, okay, so one thing with this was I kind of replaced this with Grey Merchant of Asphodel.
I don't know that one.
It's common when it comes into play. Everybody loses the amount of life for the amount of black mana symbols that you have, and then you gain that much life total. And same thing with Kakusho. Like, I took those 2 out because I added in those Aristocrat, the Blood Artist effects.
Kakusho would be good, though.
It would be really good. I don't have a ton of single recursion, though. Okay. It's more like mass recursion.
Gotcha. So it'll be a little tough to get them back.
So I felt like it wasn't going to do as much, but yes, it would. I mean, they're awesome cards. You know, and I took out Machias, which made it tougher to deal with, like, do the repeatable effects there. So I was just like, well, I get a lot of devotion to black, but I just don't. I don't want those effects in this. So that was a conscious decision that I might regret.
Well, it's something you can sacrifice. At the very least, you can sacrifice those creatures and it to draw cards.
Draw cards. The last little package is just like the clear the ramp package, and then there'll be one more.
Cryptghast, Black Market, and Thought Vessel. I think the clear cut ones are the Cryptghast and Black Market. Thought Vessel is because you're drawing so many cards.
Yeah,
you want
and
to
I ended up
potentially
adding that in late because I was like, man, I got like 10 cards in my hand.
Did you add in the land then?
Yeah, I have Reliquary Tower. And with Black Market, you are sacrificing so many creatures and killing so many creatures, you're going to get a ton of mana, which will help you out with
the tap 2 and discard for proliferate ability of him too.
Also true. Didn't even think about that. And then these are kind of guilty pleasures and or very helpful.
Illusionist Bracers.
Which, if it's equipped to Yawgmoth... Bracers. It's not Brazzers. Don't click on YouTube for that.
Yeah. It's Illusionist.
You get in trouble.
Brazzers. They're not really there.
But that would allow you to put 2 -1/-1 counters and draw 2 cards with sacrificing 1 creature or proliferating twice. So it would be
doubles
very good
up
on that. Yeah.
My favorite card, Torment of Hailfire,
which gets crazy with Black Market. I have some, the Cryptghast, and there's a lot of big mana things.
Sorceress Queen.
Yeah, so actually that's another way to help out making the bigger guys more easier to kill.
Yeah, you get put -1/-1 counters on them, and then they turn into O2s.
Yeah.
Plus, at the same point, if you aren't putting the -1 counters on it, you're turning their things to O2s.
Just O2s, yeah.
You do have one of your planeswalkers in here, Obnoxious.
Yeah. So actually, the reason why I put that in there is the only one that made it is, think about, okay, so it comes into play, you draw a card, lose a life, and then if you can proliferate, I believe, maybe 1 more proliferate.
2 to get to 8.
Okay, twice, plus the 1.
Yeah.
And so the next turn, you ultimate it and sacrifice all your creatures. Whenever you draw a card, they lose 2 life. And so it kind of works really well with Yawgmoth in that regard.
It'd be awesome if it was opponents, but it is just target player.
Yeah, target player. You got to emblem some one player. But I felt like that worked really well with Yawgmoth in that way.
Interesting. Whoa, wait. No, It says whenever a player. I thought it was saying target player draws a card.
Yeah, whenever anybody draws a card, they lose 2 life.
That's pretty brutal.
And so, but you should have a lot of creatures where you can just like sacrifice, attack somebody, like hit somebody else's creatures, and they lose 2 life, and you can probably easily do 10 life in a turn.
Here's the card I was talking about in our set review of that shitty enchantment or artifact. This is the better one. Skurd's Dag High Priest, which is you sacrifice or you tap 2 untapped creatures you control, put a 5/5 black demon token on the battlefield.
If there was a creature that died that turn.
Correct. That's pretty sweet. You're
Yeah, with the
sacrificing.
morbid. That was the only morbid card that made it, but
I will tell you, I always have trouble with this one when
Yeah.
I've played it. I always want to use it, but then you're tapping it and itself, and you have to have something die, which easy to do in this deck, so that
with
works
this
perfect.
one. And
'cause you're not tapping.
oftentimes I was finding like I wouldn't want to block with, Blood Artist or even Yawgmoth. I wouldn't want to put him in harm's danger whatsoever. And so I'm like, well, I'd be willing to tap that Yawgmoth and another random utility creature. So I felt like it was worth it in this one, or tap another creature that I would sacrifice anyway in the next, turn. So,
Then Phyrexian Obliterator, perfect deck to use this in.
well, guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Well, but
really
it's
belong
four.
here.
Four black is
Yeah.
kind of tough to come by.
It's the only way I'm going to play it is in a mono black deck.
Temporal Extortion.
Again, 4 mana, 4 black mana to take another turn, or they sacrifice or pay half their life.
Yes. Take an extra turn, yep. And then you have Abyssal Persecutor.
Oh, so this one this is again another guilty pleasure. So it's a 6/6 flying trample for 4 mana, but you can't win the game, and they can't lose. Your opponents can't lose the game.
But you can sacrifice them
easy
easily.
sack it. It's really a lot of power really early on in the game. You don't care until they're about dead, and you could always just play Yawgmoth, sacrifice it, and you start winning the game again.
And then finally, Lash Writhe.
Yeah,
Lash
Lash Writhe. So that.
Living weapon, it comes in, it's 4, it's a living weapon artifact or equipment. It gets 1+1 for each swamp you control. You can equip it for
2 black
or Phyrexian mana.
Yeah.
So you can do 2 life per. So a total of 4 life if you wanted to.
So that's pretty much Yawgmoth. I cut out some of the easier stuff, but it feels like it could be really powerful, and it also feels like it's easily combo-ish. Like I put in Mikaeus going, I want my creatures to come back easier. And I was like, oh no, this is just combo.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I don't want to do that.
Yeah. We try to stick away from that if you haven't heard us talk about that before, but we've had accidental combos many times. But so you haven't got to play it yet? You just kind of finished building it the other night?
Yeah, basically last night I ended up putting in the Blood Artist effect and the Grave Pact effects, and I'm like, I like this a lot better.
So do you feel like there's enough tokens that you're able to sacrifice, enough creatures to sacrifice for them?
It's really important to get one of the creatures that recur. So like the Blood Artist or the Bloodghast or the reassembling skeleton or so that style, that's really, really powerful. I don't think I've seen Geralf's Messenger yet, but I'll bet that's really good in there. And that gives you a little bit of reach too.
Yeah.
Along with, because that was the other reason why I went with the Blood Artist effects, is that allowed me to get that reach if I can't get through attacking, because it is a lot of little dinky creatures, so you might just get stuck against a bunch of walls where you just have to I'm gonna block and then sacrifice and do a bunch of instant speed stuff. So it'll be, I think I'll like it probably better than Krav and Regna. I did really like that deck, but it felt okay. So let's do an example. Krav was really powerful because you were able to do a bunch all at once, and it was a really powerful move. So again, not a real comparison, but that was like Grizzlebrand to Necropotence, where you're able to pay one life at incremental values. So this is more like incremental values of, I'm just going to sacrifice a creature here, get a little bit of value, draw a card, and it only costs me 1 life. And you're able to do that one at a time whenever you need to, instead of big chunks like Krav was, where Krav became really powerful. You know what I mean? Because you had to pay a mana to have that effect. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think Krav and Regna's downfall is how much they cost to come out.
Sure. That was a big thing, because Krav would come out, it'd be 5. You'd have to have a board, and then you need 1 more black mana open if you wanted the big move. But if you just want to do 1 or 2, then you get open and you can just get screwed.
It just seemed a little overcasting for what you wanted to do. And this, with it being a 4 drop to come out, seems a lot more reasonable. And the fact that you're able to do stuff without paying mana, so you can pay him for 4, and then you're able to do it.
The free sack outlet is huge.
Yeah, so it seems like this is going to be super powerful.
I almost put in like stealing other players' creatures effect in play, and I was like, there's like an artifact or two that'll do that. I was like, I'll skip it.
That won't be too much of a day.
There are some really cool ways that you can go about this. So there's another one that I really wanted to do. There's a 4-mana 4/4 from Rivals of Ixalan that has Defender, and then you pay 2. It fights another creature you control. And then if that 4/4 dies this turn...
you sent that to me when this card was revealed. Yeah.
I really like that card. I just haven't... But basically it'd fight... Let's say it doesn't die. Then you could just sacrifice it, and then it would flip and make 4/4 golems for you all day.
Yeah.
Because you could just have that free sack outlet.
What do you think about...
I cut it.
The Infect route?
The Infect route? I think that's legitimate.
I think that could be...
You would for sure have to change... One thing, the route that I would go, because like drawing cards would be harder because...
You'd be more focused on the proliferate part.
Yep. And so you would want something more like... a card that I cut was like Vileborn Ghoul, which is... Doesn't matter. It's a creature. If it's in your graveyard and you have a swamp coming into play, it comes back to your hand. So if you can have cards that naturally come back to your hand, and then you can discard them for that effect again... It would be a very different deck, in my opinion, to focus on proliferate, because you could go Infect Planeswalkers to get like that double proliferate effect.
That's kind of cool. There's multiple ways that this deck can go about,
For sure.
Commander is very versatile. Sweet. Well, I'm excited to see this
deck. Get your ass whooped by it.
Whatever, Lowry.
Because people have probably seen the battle boxes that we're going to plug again right now because we forgot about it. So go check out our battle boxes.
Oh, yeah. Now we can announce who actually won.
Yeah, legitimately.
Lowry kicked my ass.
It was a fair and straight up good match.
No.
And I do apologize for not having properly dated mayo.
Yeah, that was terrible.
You didn't even tell. You couldn't.
It was terrible. I could taste it. It gave me
that bad.
Heartburn for days.
That could have been the Tabasco or the pepper or
the
vodka.
shitty beer you gave me after that.
I felt pretty bad. So he took the shot had Tabasco and pepper and vodka and mayo, and it was tapeworm. And then we recorded the episode a couple weeks ago.
We did the podcast right afterwards.
Gave him a jalapeno beer.
It was disgusting. So if you go back a few episodes, it's the episode where I'm like, I can't even drink this beer. You can take it back. It was so gross.
I think it's because it compounded on each other.
And it was from Nebraska. It was a Nebraska crappy beer.
Which was it's one of the better pepper beers out there. I will agree. Most pepper beers taste like you're like drinking.
It tastes like that
damn
shot is what that tastes like. Because there was pepper in it.
And then I wouldn't have had a problem with tapeworm.
Oh, all right. Guess what you're taking next?
Big deal here.
All right. Well, that is Kraven Regna 2.0 in a nutshell.
Yep. Over to Yawgmoth. Let's do this.
All right. So let's move into Jank Tribes.
Okay. So, again,
Janky
Kyle
Jank.
Bowman kind of brought up that he wanted us to discuss some Jank Tribes, essentially, in those words. And I kind of came together with a list of like 40, and we had to cut it down because not all of them are worthy.
This will be kind of quick. We
At
kind
this
of
point.
discussed it beforehand of like certain things that we think that each tribe needs. We could do a breakdown in the future. If this seems like a episode that people want to do, we could do specifics. But really, there's some things on each tribe where it's like, okay, this needs a general, just it needs something that maybe things that the creature or the tribe needs to actually make it viable or usable in a commander deck. So why don't you start us off with the...
Should we go down?
Let's just go down the list, yeah.
Okay. So the first one that we'll talk about quick here is spiders.
Spiders.
There was one in the latest Innistrad block called Iskana that kind of gave spiders like a little bit of identity rather than just like reach and a fat ass. And that added black, and it basically dealt damage for the amount of spiders that were in play. And that was a pretty unique like effect, especially for spiders. And it was like, oh, that's pretty cool. And then in Modern Horizons, they just kind of did another spiders similar to that. But the thing is there.
How do they win?
Yeah, and that's kind of the big thing is like there just isn't a ton of support. There's like 2 spiders that do that. There isn't a lot of black spiders either. Like most spiders are just like green.
And then maybe like if it's a black and green spider thing.
But you don't have
tokens
only black.
Sometimes make them black.
Yeah, like Penumbra spider is a green one. When it dies, makes a black spider.
One, yeah.
But so I think if you could just fill that out, have a little bit more like black spiders.
But you think that's all that they're missing? I feel like there's no win
there needs
with
to
them.
be there needs to be more cards that deal damage for the amount of spiders that you have.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the biggest thing because right now I think you just got 2, and that's like the main identity for.
I mean, that's what you think about when you think of spiders. It's a ton of spiders.
And you're like,
holy shit, there's spiders! So you need some way to do mass destruction, and then I still don't think even if you're able to wipe things, you need to be able to kill. Kill a player with spiders.
Yeah, you're not. You're gonna have to spawn a lot more. You get that? Yeah. So again, like it's fairly weak. They're vanilla. They're reach. They basically only do reach, and there's like 2. I feel like
I could see that actually. That what you're saying there is maybe more of a token deck where it is making tons and tons of spiders. So you have something that's compounding on top of each other to make more spiders, and you just overrun somebody with spiders. And you can overrun. I mean, you're in green, so you actually that could be one of the win cons.
But that wouldn't be like their identity.
No, but I would say their
identity is semi-niche because it's reach.
Yeah,
and
reach.
So it's not a very full tribe. Moving on. Going with Clerics.
Now, Clerics, I'm like...
You're pretty meh?
Meh.
So the reaon why I think it would be interesting to kind
of
push
there's people that like Clerics a little bit.
Well, they were centered on an older set. But they've kind of gone away. Clerics basically prevent damage, a certain amount of damage. And I think that would be an interesting design space for them to explore. They have like a card called Edgewalker that reduces cleric spells by a white and a black, but there aren't a ton of black clerics. And I don't know what a black cleric would do. Preventing damage would be an interesting design space for them to explore versus they've really favored life gain. And I don't fault them for that because life gain is more... It's kind of more interesting, I guess, because life gain can take effect at any point in the game, to whereas preventing only happens at the point of damage, so life loss.
Do you want black in there then?
Or
do you want them to stick?
I think there would be more support for it because they did have a set that was centered around black and white clerics, where they were kind of like there were good clerics and there were bad clerics, like the swamp ones. You motherfucker.
The swamp one.
They dealt with like demons and summoning demons, where the plain ones were very boring and preventing damage.
The swamp one. Nice one.
Yeah.
You got a hair on there?
Couple. And so I think that would be interesting design space for them to go towards.
You had mentioned something too about redirection.
Yeah, there are a bunch of powerful, I think, powerful redirection cards. So there are like, there's that Angel from Shards of Laura that's a Bant colors, but whenever any damage is dealt to you, it's redirected to that.
There's that instant too that Tyson has won on before, where all the damage that's dealt to you is redirected to
that player, and that's like a red-white effect. I think Clerics could fill that role as well of redirecting.
You could do
along with preventing.
Yeah, you could do with black with it is instead of like cards we talked about before is instead of losing life that turn, it's prevented and it deals.
Yeah, the black could redirect.
They lose that life. Yeah.
So I think that would just be an interesting way because like Return to Ravnica has like a giant warrior that's like a 2/7 for 6. that redirects all the damage to it. It's like if you could fill the clerics into that role, that could fill out that tribe a bit better.
And you need a general then in general.
Also true.
General in general.
Yeah, and they don't have a general at all.
Yeah.
So, but you have from that older set, you can tap like 5 clerics you control, gain 10 life. So it still occupies the game.
Oh yeah, I
life
made a
thing, too.
deck with that.
You did.
I did.
I remember
I
it.
forgot about that.
I didn't.
Ah.
It was a
Then
lot
there was
of
that
life.
Kithkin
Oh,
cleric
it's just an enchant. Oh, what's the?
where it was tap that's from Shadowmoor. It's like tap a white
Oh, creature, and then you gain a life.
gain a life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Forgot about that deck.
next one would be birds, in my opinion. I think there are people that would say that birds have a blue-white commander and they have a white commander. I personally just think they're boring.
Birds are kind of boring. Except for Bop.
Stormcrow. No, yeah, Bob is cool.
But it's mono producing. I don't know.
I just think they're like flyers, and then people, because Kagmi is blue-white, and then it has feather counters, and it gives +1/+1 to all birds you control.
Isn't the new one a bird wizard?
Yes, and that's blue-white-red that creates spirits.
So you don't even get your green. You don't even get Bop in there.
You don't get Bob.
God damn it.
And so I don't think there's an interesting commander for them.
No. I can't think of anything either.
If you get,
I can't even think what you could do with birds, though.
It's just evasion, all flying.
Yeah.
And then you can put in the all flying creatures gain X effects. There's a couple of cool ones. There's like a land that you can pay a blue and a white, tap it, sacrifice a bird, draw a card. And then I want to say there's like...
So
there's an
birds
enchantment.
needs kind of a lot to make them...
interesting. I think they could be
They
potentially
have support
powerful.
with things that are specific to flyers.
Yeah.
But
nothing specific to birds, really. So I don't think they're really interesting. But they have enough to choose from, probably.
next one.
Spirits. I think they have enough there.
Yeah,
I just
they
want
just
an
need that.
Esper. I want a black, white, and blue commander. That's all I want.
Because we kind of do have black and white.
Commander?
Kind of.
Which one are you thinking?
What's the ghost one that I was sacrificing 3? Oh, well, it's the chick, Teysa.
Yeah, but that's not specifically spirit.
She's not necessarily spirit.
I guess one thing that I would say is, like, for me, for a commander, I want it to specifically say some type of pump for that creature type.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So, like, for the spiders, Inashka deals damage to your opponents for the amount of spiders you have. Spiders matter.
Yeah.
So, like, or with Kegmi, gives feather counters. All birds get +1/+1 for as many feather counters. Like, that's dealing directly. So, like, if you have a spirit legend that's like blue-white, like Geist Saint Traft, I wouldn't consider that a spirit general. It's a general that's a spirit, in my opinion.
It's a general spirit.
It's a general spirit. Yes.
Pretty basic.
So I would want an Esper spirit legend that deals with spirits in some way.
I guess there is some blue. I always in my mind was thinking white black is your spirits.
But white blue has the push. Like there's Drogs.
But when you
Innistrad
make a
is more
spirit
white
token,
blue.
it's always white black, pretty much.
Or white.
Well, that's
Spectral Procession.
but you don't see
it's
blue as often.
I
But
would agree.
but I think adding blue in there are enough blue spirit
Well, when you go to Modern Spirits, which is that's a
deck.
decent deck, that's blue-white. So there aren't many there's the token generation in black.
But there
white.
isn't actual specific ones.
Yeah, not a ton. Like outside of Kamigawa.
So they kind of need their general, and they kind of need some more spirits.
You can have like a tapping effect. You can have them have hexproof or shroud. They're getting more like counter spells. On like the Innistrad blocks have helped out the spirit of magic. But it helped out the
Such
Spirit
play on
Tribe
words we got with this.
greatly. But they just don't have like a proper general, in my opinion.
All right, next on the list,
Wolves and werewolves.
we kind of already discussed this one. They just need to get one that has red mixed in with
Yeah,
it.
red, green, white legend.
That's pretty much it.
I think if they could figure out a way to make werewolves and wolves the same creature type, like if it was wolves, like
Put the question mark.
Yeah, like separate. It's a wolf, like it's a werewolves. Like they just separate that word, it would work.
Or just use it both, werewolves or wolves.
Like they did on the new green. But that's too many words. You could just, if you could figure out
A question mark
fix it.
adds it or helps it.
No, but clearly that's a joke. Come on.
But I think really what wolves need is it just needs to add red. Wolves and werewolves. I think you add red, green, and white, and there you go. Tulsimir could have been that. Could have been our savior.
Because he was mad at Nicobolus and he was red.
Pissed. But yeah, I think if you encompass werewolves and wolves into one, you don't separate them, then they have more sources, more things to use in
Agreed.
that. And then we move into Eldrazi.
Yeah, so I think their biggest problem is like their big legends that you want to be playing with are completely colorless. And Battle for Zendikar introduced Devoid, which color identity makes it so that they have a color, even though they're colorless. So it'd be nice to be able to add in like Eldrazi Displacer into an Eldrazi deck, but currently you really can't. And so if you could get like a 5-color Devoid Eldrazi, I don't know how you're going to do that, like story-wise, but it'd be nice because
Goes in a commander set. Doesn't need to be story. Put it in a commander set. That's kind of the point of a lot of this. Is it doesn't need to go in the story. I think that was the initial email. What he was talking about. What do you think would go in like in command the next not next commander set, but that could go in a commander set to make these tribes viable. And he picked out a couple, but it wasn't necessarily the ones we're picking here.
Yeah.
I guess with Eldrazi though, really quick, I think they would just need a cost reduction. A lot of that, if they're general, because they're so high casting costs. A lot of them, there are a few that are 3 and 4, but you need a reduction.
So do you think they have like the giant problem that we'll talk about then too? They're just too top heavy.
Yeah, and I think you're right. It'd need to be a 5-color with them as well.
Because like Dragon reduces the cost of dragons. And then also 5 colors, which pulls it all in. So something similar to that.
Yeah. I think that, and I don't know the other parts of what Eldrazi what would help with them, but mainly their cost reduction would be nice. Go on to the next one.
So another one that we kind of found was Sphinxes. Now you have like Unesh Cryosphinx Sphere. Sphinx?
Cryosphere.
It's a
Cryosphinx.
Cryosphincter. But what that does is that reduces Sphinx's cost by 2. The only I do like that one, but I would like to be able to add in like the blue-white Sphinxes as well, because I do like them. And there just isn't. There is a like Modamai, Ageless, yada yada that gives you extra turns, but again, that's not like a Sphinx commander.
Yeah, it's not specific. It's not dealing with Sphinxes.
Yeah. And you have Azor. You have some blue-white Sphinxes that are legends, but none of them like benefit like Unesh does. And so if you could find a legend that goes blue-white and helps out Sphinxes, I think that's probably the only thing. Otherwise, it'd be cool.
All right, what's our next one then?
I'm going to talk about fairies.
Fairies. I think that would go big if we could find a nice general there, because I had a fairy deck. My Fairy Noble.
You did, yeah. And back in the day, that was solid. It was hard to block because it was all flying. And so we're like, Homelands has a big, and like Fallen Empire, that's where like green fairies are from. And you had some blue fairies throughout time. You have like Scrib Ranger from Time Spiral, which is green, but Lorwyn really focused on like blue and black. And so, but you didn't really get like a fairy general.
No.
You kind of had like Una that created fairies.
That was blue-black.
Yeah, that was blue-black, but it was more like a mill commander. In my mind, like even though it like creates
Fairies, it's
fairies. And so when we were talking about it was like it'd be interesting to get like a green, black, blue to almost like mix those and just have like
instant speed kind of
flash
things.
Interactions.
Because that's kind of what you think of with fairies. There's a lot of flashing.
Mm-hmm. They're dirty, dirty fairies.
Naughty fairy.
It'd be interesting. I'm surprised they even fly around with those coats on. And probably bother their wings, and they're probably walking when they do this.
Oh man! All right, so fairies, yeah, flashing, instant speed stuff, black, green, blue. Works.
You're tired.
Yeah, I'm getting there. And I'm looking. I'm like, it's 1 o'clock. And I still have an hour and a 15-minute drive after this. All right, so what's our next one?
Next one, Moonfolk. This is probably more my
I
push.
was like, I don't really know. I don't think I
Kamigawa.
own a Moonfolk.
There's only like 15 Moonfolk plus Tamiyo. But essentially, they all have the ability of pay like 2 or 3, return a land or 2 to your hand, and some effect happens. And so I think that's pretty interesting design space, but the problem is like you're losing land and it's 2 or 3. So like if you could somehow find a way to get like lands back into play or do something with them in your hand, like what if you had a legend that just allowed you to like cast any spell by discarding 2 lands in your hand? That'd be cool. Sweet. Probably way too powerful. That'd be like crazy powerful, but you get what I mean, like being able to use those land in your hands somehow, or like a training grounds that reduces the cost, so that's a lot cheaper, so that when you're losing the land and not playing them as fast, you can still have the effect. So,
Moonfolk.
Another one, Knights. I would just want a different black-white legend.
General.
Yeah.
All right.
Something interesting.
Because there's enough knights out there. Once you get to take both colors in.
Yeah.
Use swamp and plains together as one.
As one.
It's one.
Scrubland.
Unify. All right, and then...
Bears. We just got Ayula.
We just need better bears.
Yeah, like
There's
it's the
just
same
not good
discussion. They're boring.
Yeah.
Boring bear.
There's nothing going on
Ayula
there.
is really cool, but the other bears are boring.
Yeah. It's very hard to...
Like River Bear, it's a 2/2 for 3 with Island Walk as a $7 card, like because it's the best bear. You know what I mean? Like that's not interesting.
Yeah, no, definitely I agree. There was like that's one of the reasons why I didn't go for the specs on that, because I was like, this deck is going to be one trick pony. It's only going to be these bears, and everybody that has a bear deck has the exact same bear deck because there's no variation of your bears. Because there's just bad bears.
Bad bears are boring. Next one, Giants. We kind of brought that in with the Eldrazi. They just are really top heavy, and so if you could get some of the smaller like baby giants with like a smaller converted mana cost, like one red, and he's like an 0/1 that gives giants haste or something, that'd be cool.
Baby giants.
Baby giants.
That'll be their sub creature type, baby giants. Then we got a new creature type, babies.
Babies. That's exactly what us.
Then we
Magic
could add
dads
that
want.
to the list. Oh, we just don't have enough babies.
I think dwarves would be interesting.
I liked your idea with this.
Well, I would just probably push them more towards vehicles.
Yeah, I think it'd be cool to get vehicles kind of going.
More.
Yeah,
because they have made them more evergreen, so you get 1 or 2 per set basically at this point.
But then they're mainly artifacts. There are some you like that blue one a lot, the submarine.
No, I did not, and that'd be okay not playing that. But
it would work well because they typically are red dwarves.
Sure, yeah,
and
red.
Red deals a lot with artifacts, so the vehicles are
work.
typically
And
artifacts.
white's pretty heavy into artifacts as well. So I think if you did just pushed it into more interesting into vehicles, helping vehicles out,
And then actually, in two birds with one stone, you get a vehicle commander.
Yeah, because you do have DePaula, which is a legendary dwarf that deals with vehicles, but there just isn't a ton of dwarves that deal with vehicles. So if they could
start making more dwarves that actually have it, not the commander itself.
Yeah.
All right, and then
cats. I don't know. We were just like, I don't really know what they do. People really like them.
If they
I'm assuming they sit around and pet their cards, like, oh, good kitty,
like Dr. Evil.
Yeah, they shave their card. I don't know. We were thinking like
was
maybe
that a joke?
It was not, but it is now. We were thinking if you just maybe found a commander that pushed into black.
Yeah, so you
it'd be
get
better because right now they're like green, white,
black.
Which before the commander set that did green, white cats, like cats weren't really green, except for Amonkhet, and it came out right before Amonkhet.
There's a lot of green.
Yeah, and so, but like, there's enough utility in black that maybe if you make it like an Abzan commander or something, or I don't know, why do you guys like cat cards? I don't get it.
You guys,
how come there isn't like a dog commander?
Oh, man. How many more do we have?
None of your business. Cores from Zendikar could probably just get more utility when it comes to equipment.
So we got our vehicle, cores, our equipment.
Yeah, I would probably like a core commander that was core equipment for commander. I would probably like that a little bit more if it was pushed into like red white instead of just like mono white. So drakes.
Yeah, drakes. I need more drakes. We need a better general. And we need to have red.
Is kind of a drake commander.
It is, but it isn't, because the thing is you're trying to play drakes, and that's more of your playing instants and sorceries to get drakes. Yeah.
So like your nickname's Talrand because you make drakes.
No.
I'm pretty sure I already did that joke too. But right now you can tell like they've kind of pushed drakes into red-blue spell slinging style. And I think it'd be nice if you got a drake that was maybe a legend that dealt in that style that helped out other drakes.
Lord of the Drakes.
I don't know.
That's what I want.
Lord of the Drakes. Snakes. I think we could just have a set with drakes or snakes. Drakes and snakes. Fuck. Why are they so close together?
Drakes and snake fuck? That's how you get dragons.
That's how you get, yeah.
Actually, I'd say that's how you get drakes. It's snakes and dragons. And then they...
Snakins? You okay?
Yeah, that was the wrong tube laughing.
So they got... Don't be jealous I made up words.
All right.
So like snakes have one commander from the commander set that is green blue, and I think it'd just be interesting to see snakes be developed in the blue section a bit more, because green is okay, but I think if you just got another set with like green blue snakes,
there are no black snakes.
I mean, like Ophiomancer creates a snake. Yeah. And you get like 1/1 Death Touch snakes, but like there isn't any
just green. Yeah,
again, there isn't anything interesting. Like the green ones from the Kamigawa block, like deal with tapping land or untapping land or putting land into play. Like they're heavy into lands, and so that'd be interesting. Like if they're in the lands, the blue snakes are into drawing cards. That'd be badass. Very green blue as well. So, next one, Treefolk. Well, they're just kind of boring. Doran's awesome. Yeah. But Treefolk in general are boring.
So, better general?
No, make them more interesting.
Better Treefolk? They actually haven't really touched Treefolk for a little bit.
Yeah, since the Lorwyn block. I mean, you get one every once in a while, but...
Yeah. Better Treefolk.
Like, if I sit down and I build a Doran deck, I have all these Treefolk, I'm like, yeah, these are perfect for this. And then I'm like, well, it's not as good as this card. Not as good. Like, I end up getting, like, 5 Treefolk in there. Like, they're not very good.
What colors would you use with that? White, green, and black?
Yeah. Doran's still sweet. Doran's a really cool card. Everybody loves squirrels except for people in New York and any city because there's too many squirrels. Get it?
I gotcha.
Yeah.
Always trying to get in that.
They just need a legend, I think.
Yep, they do.
And then we can see if they need any more support.
Well, there really isn't a lot of, like, there's squirrel token generators.
Yeah.
They need a couple more things.
Yeah. There's like the big squirrel, like it's like +7/+7 with threshold for 4.
It's a badass squirrel.
So big.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she said. So one legend that we missed from last week was a Hydra. That was mono green. I made this list before that legend came out.
It's a pretty good Hydra for the Hydras.
Which like reduces the or like adds 4 mana to every Hydra cost.
Reduces their casting cost by 4, which they're normally X spells, so it's...
I would still prefer a red-green legend for Hydras, and maybe it's just Roshin Meander that adds 4 to X spells, but that's not really Hydra specific. Funguses, which would be Slimefoot, and...
They just need to edit the 3 spore counters, and then you make a Saproling, which they need to do something where it's a lot better.
Yeah, so fix the spore counter issue. And then the last one, Scarecrows. What were we thinking about that? So, like, a lot of the original...
Color identity, like, because they deal a lot, especially the original ones are dealing with, if you have a red permanent, it gets blah,
this
blah, blah.
happens. So, if you were able to explore with Scarecrows more, like, what's the Scarecrow that's being reprinted in Core Set 2020?
Not Scarecrow.
No,
Scuttlemutt.
Scuttlemutt, yeah. And that changes colors on permanents and stuff like that. So if you try to explore that more, I think that'd be interesting because you have Reaper King.
Yeah. Well, what we kind of talked about was like if the Scarecrows had the same thing where it was like if you have a red permanent, all your creatures or your Scarecrows get 2/2 and haste. And so then you're kind of utilizing, like, it's almost like dumbed down slivers.
Harder to do slivers.
But then you play Reaper King, and it has all 5 colors, and you get all the bonuses from all your Scarecrows that are out.
So I think it'd be... at the very least, I think, because they've played around with the idea of, like, changing the color of permanents. You know, you got, like, 8.5 tails, and you have the lace cycle from the, Alphabet Unlimited. And they... magical hack. They kind of try and do it every once in a while, and they're just bad cards. And so if you could make those interesting or semi-playable, that could be an interesting way to go around with it as well. 8.5 tails is playable. But the lace cycle and like just changing stuff for a moment in time.
And I think they have their general in general.
Yeah.
In general, because Reaper King is pretty damn good. It covers all colors. It has all 5 colors, and then when you play a Scarecrow, you're
destroying any permanent.
Yeah.
So, I think it'd be pretty cool. That's kind of our list of Jank Tribal.
If there's any of these that you want us to explore more, or you have better ideas for these, just shoot us an email. Let us know.
Yeah, or Adam will read it.
No, Lowry will read it. Yes.
I'll do my best.
So let's move into Smith Specs of the Week.
Smith Specs of the Week,
guys. Lowry's, all his are going to deal with stuff that he just talked about.
And I did mention some that had already kind of gone off. And these might have already gone off because we're doing this 2 weeks before this comes out. But Blowfly Infestation. This is the one that whenever a creature dies with a 1/1 counter on it, you get to put a 1/1 counter, -1/-1 counter on another creature. Sand Foil at $750 right now. It kind of jumped a couple years ago, and it's kind of leveled out and gone down. But Yawgmoth, this goes in Yawgmoth, and
it jumped with the Amonkhet set when they were dealing with the -1/-1
and counters. I think it's hard for them to do sets like it's every 5-ish years. But this is kind of like a core card in the Black Infect style decks. So just going with those.
Yeah, that's very low inventory. I mean, not low, but it's such an old set too. Like
Yeah,
you're saying.
yeah, that's also true.
All right, my first one. I'm still sticking with Modern Horizons of stuff here. So, Eldamri's Call. You can pick up the non-foils for around $2. I think you could also go for the foils here. They're sitting around $7. I just think it's a good card, and it's something that's we could use in Commander, but then it's also for Modern, it being introduced for the first time.
Yeah, it'll be interesting if it has an impact in Modern, because it is a powerful tutor.
Yeah, and so even if it doesn't work out in Modern, it's a card that you can use in Commander. I mean, being able to put it into your hand, whereas Worldly Tutor, that goes on top of your library. This is kind of nice to be able to go into your hand, and it's an instant spell, so it's just an all-around good card. So I would say go with the foils of these. They, you can't really compare it to...
Yeah. The Plane Shift is almost $900 foil.
But you look at
doesn't make any
the
sense.
Masters 25s at 12 right now, but those have been going up since it got announced to go into Modern here. So it's not something you need to go jump on right away. All mine are it's from Modern Horizons, so some of these...
This is when you're saying maybe watch a little bit.
Yeah, this actually all three of mine are watch to see. This isn't one where I specifically said a number to get under. I had pick up the non-foils at $2 because that's really cheap. Yeah, keep an eye on these. But $2, I don't think it's going to get any cheaper than that, because now you have a format that's has access to it that never had access to it before. And if you look at Masters 25, I just want to see how low it actually...
Summoning Pact is like a $12 card. That's a free green tutor. Puts it into your hand, but you got to pay $5 later on. This is semi-similar. Probably the second most powerful tutor in Modern at this point for creatures.
And if you look at... the Masters 25, it never got below $3, and that was before it got introduced to a whole brand new set. So, yeah, it got reprinted again a year after this came out, but you have a whole group of people that are now using this card. So even picking up the non-foils at $2 is a pretty good deal. So, all right, Larry, your next one
is going to end up being Crumbling Ashes. I would say the non-foil on this one sitting around $5-6. Foil's like over 15. But this one is during my upkeep, you get to destroy a target creature with a -1/-1 counter on it. It's just a black and a colorless for an enchantment. It is going to be it should go in every -1/-1 counter deck. This is one of the better cards. Also,
another old set, still Eventide. It's around the same time. Yeah, you definitely should have this for your collection, because there's a lot of cards that you do -1/-1 card counters, and it's only a 2-drop enchantment. So, all right, my next one is Planebound Accomplice, and I'm looking at, this is one that kind of Larry was mentioning before. One, I'm saying you're actually looking to wait until it gets down to a price. I'm talking about the foils, and I want to see them get below $5 or $4, $5 to $4. This is the one where you're able to sneak attack a planeswalker into play. You can do some tricky things.
This is a really powerful card.
Yeah, you can get the non-foils for $1 right now, but I'm more focused. I think this is going to be Modern. I don't think it's going to jump on this unless they find a way to break it, which there are some theories, but no one's actually playing it. This could be really good in Commander. So, Larry, your last one?
It's going to end up being Nest of Scarabs foil. This is an enchantment from Amonkhet. Whenever a -1/-1 counter is placed on a creature, you get to put a 1/1 scarab creature into play. The foils are sitting around $6.
Black Insect.
It spiked after War of the Spark, probably because of Yawgmoth, but it's gone down quite a bit, and I would say this is one of them that is, again, a core card for -1/-1 counters.
Mm-hmm. For sure. It spiked up to nearly $10, over $10, and now
12.
It's around $5 or so. All right, and then my last one is another one. Or just kind of keep an eye on. It's for the ninjas. We've talked about this one. Ingenuous Infiltrator. Did we have this as one of the top? No, we took this. This was our list.
It came off because it was ninjas.
Yeah, so it's so specific, but it has ninjutsu 2, and then whenever a ninja you control deals combat damage, draw a card. I'm focused on the foils because you can get the non-foils for dirt cheap right now, 40 cents. The foils are at 5. If those can get down under 4, I think that's where I start buying in on this, because every single ninja deck, and ninjas really have been selling. That was like my best seller from last year. It sold out. I got my money back and way more than I spec'd on for those, and they just continue it by like their ninjutsu's a sweet ability. Like I never even knew about it until Yuriko. And they've been out forever. It's just you didn't have a good commander. That's the thing.
Yeah, they didn't have a lot there either.
Yeah. So. But the fact that this allows any of your ninjas that hit to draw is pretty crazy. And so this card by itself, let's say you're not even playing him in a ninja deck. If he's ninjutsuing in there because he's going to be unblocked, you're drawing a card right there.
Yeah, and you're probably returning some type of ETB creature, Baleful Strix or something.
Yeah. So, but I look for these. They're at 5 right now. If they can get under 4, then I would start picking them up. So my specs this week is more watch out for these cards, guys.
See, keep an eye on them.
Yeah. All right, that should do it for this week, right? We don't have anything else?
No, that's it. That's
All
good.
right. So you guys can follow us on Twitter.
At CommanderSmiths.
You can go to YouTube, subscribe, like, and meat force it.
At CommanderSmiths.
And you can go to our Patreon and
be awesome.
Be awesome. That's the slogan.
You're all awesome.
You can go to Patreon and be awesome. And then you can go to our email.
At CommanderSmiths. I gotta catch up.
All right. Well, double cast. We did it, Lowry.
We're
done for this week. High five. All right. We will see you guys next week.
Talk to you later.
See ya. Bye.